So I'm very, very thrilled to introduce you guys to our special guest today, Mikael. Mikael, are you here?
Yes, I am. Hello, guys.
Hello. It's a pleasure to have you as a dot guest. You're the first launcher of our events. So thank you for being here. And would you like maybe to introduce a bit yourself, and then we can go to your project?
Okay, sure. Hi, guys. My name's Mikael. I do actually have a bit of an introductory slide later, so I'll probably save most of the details for that. But I guess just some basic facts. I am an M2 student of the Data Science and Business Analytics Masters, which I think most of us are a part of. And I've been working on different data science projects and what have you for around 3 years now. Um, yeah, the rest of the details I'll save for later. So, pleasure to talk to all of you.
Okay, super cool. Then I will leave you the sharing of the screen. And
Okay.
thank you for being here.
Okay. Hi, guys. Let me just figure this out. Wait. Hey, everyone. So can you see my screen properly?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, hey, guys. Today I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a brief of my project that I've been pursuing in the past couple of months called Lucid Sonic Dreams. So this is a Python package that essentially, as Value is leading up to, fuses the elements of music and visual arts to create something that I would like to believe is a little bit special. Okay, so for today, we're gonna cover 6 very simple points. Number one is just what exactly is Lucid Sonic Dreams, plus a bit of a demo of the package. We're also going to be covering sort of the backstory of, the thought process, how I came up with it, which will entail just a little bit about myself, but we'll keep that part a little minimal. We'll also be covering how it works, what goes on under the hood, and how exactly you, as an end user, can use the package. And finally, just some highlights that have happened within the past month that I've released the package and some key takeaways, which I'd like to share with all of you. Okay, cool. So, what exactly is Lucid Sonic Dreams? Well, long story short, it's a Python package that allows you to sync AI generated art to music very easily with just a few lines of code. Okay, verbal explanation, sure, that's pretty comprehensive, but I think the best way for me to explain it is by showing you guys a bit of a demo. So here, we're gonna load up a bit of a YouTube video. You guys may have seen this video back in the past. It was blasted all over social media. Before we play this video, I just want to give a little bit of a heads up. The whole point of this package is to sync visuals with music, and for the visuals to go with a beat. Now, we're in a Zoom conference, and I think people know from prior experience that inevitably there might be some lag and what have you. So let's just give this a try. Let's see if it works for you guys. If at any time the lag is unbearable, and if at any time you have no idea how the music even goes with the visuals, literally just interrupt me and we can do a little bit of an asynchronous sort of viewing session. Okay? Does that sound good to everyone? Okay,
Perfect.
cool. So what we'll do, instead of watching the whole video, I'll just show a couple of minutes each for maybe 3 videos just to see sort of different results that you can get from the package. Okay, let's get started. right. So on that note, guys, I do have a YouTube channel, and if you want to take your own time to sort of watch it at your own pace, to really see the visuals sync with the music with zero lag, go ahead and do so. For now, though, I guess I just want to drive sort of a basic gist of the concept. So I guess what we could do is just view maybe another minute and a half each of just a couple more videos, just so you guys see also sort of the diversity of what this package can do. Here, so this is one of my other favorites from this package. Essentially, this is a modern art style, and you're gonna notice here that the sort of range of motion that's shown in this video output is quite different from the other one. It's a lot more jerky and snappy. So let's do this. That was just one additional video. And finally, I'm just going to show you guys one last one really quick. This one is one of my personal favorites simply because, number one, it's the very first sort of work that I ever made with Lucid Sonic Dreams, even before it was in package form. And number two, it syncs art to some of my own music, actually. This is a track that I produced a couple of years ago and eventually ended up using for Lucid Sonic Dreams. So let's check it out. Okay, cool. So I guess that concludes our demo session. Yeah, once again, apologies for any lag that there might have been, but I'm hoping that you guys get the point of the package so far. Essentially, what it does is that it allows the end user to just upload any audio file, tune some parameters, and output a video in whatever art style the user chooses. And I'm not sure if this was obvious based on, sort of depending on what level of lag you were experiencing. But parameters you could tune include sort of how sharply the video moves with the music, how much it reacts to the beat versus how much it reacts to the more harmonic elements, etc., etc. So it's got all of that, and really the whole point is to just encapsulate you in an audio visual experience of sorts. Okay, cool. So that is Lucid Sonic Dreams in a nutshell. So okay, next thing I'm gonna do is discuss sort of the backstory behind how and why I came up with this package, because it is something that people ask me quite a bit. Um, and very quickly, we're going to discuss a very quick summary about myself. Now, this is probably the most boring slide in the presentation because you guys are here. You guys are here to learn about lucid sonic dreams and not me, right? But a bunch of people asked me what my thought process was, and I do think that when explaining the thought process, it makes sense to consider who the thinker is and what context the thinker is coming from, right? So I'll make this very quick. Who am I other than being a total data nerd, which you guys definitely know by now? So I am a musician, have been for most of my life, since I was 9 year old. That's me with my guitar there. I'm a huge, huge nature lover, and really going on hikes, treks, and nature trips fulfill me to no end, basically. This one's a little vague, but I'm all about the vibes and aesthetics. Now, what do I mean by this? Um, so this is a picture that I took one beautiful sunset in a beach house of my friend back in the Philippines. And essentially, what I mean by this is that I really give a lot of priority to experiences, experiencing things, and not only that, but whatever sort of environment or experience I'm in the middle of, I like to really immerse myself as fully as I possibly can in that experience, whether it be through the visual stimuli, the auditory stimuli, maybe some mental stimuli in the form of alcohol, who knows. But at the end of the day, yeah, really vibes and aesthetics are something that I prioritize a lot in my experiences, to say the least. So that's a bit about me. Now, onto the package itself. How did it come to be? Okay, so this is basically what happened. First of all, last January, I think it was mid-January, we had a homework for Foundations of Deep Learning, right? Without getting too much into the technicals, it essentially asked us to visualize the feature maps of a convolutional neural network, yada yada, right? And it was a, as per the usual data science homework, it was pretty challenging. So I had to do a lot of research, and somehow my research led me to discover AI art, specifically Google's Deep Dream. Now, this is actually a really fascinating concept. Essentially, what they did here in this picture, particularly, is that they trained a neural network to recognize images of dogs, right? And once it got really good at recognizing dogs, they were able to take a picture of a dog and basically make the neural network generate a bunch of mini dogs around the dog. Not sure if it's clear from here, but all of these little shapes and contours, those are dog faces, and it's really cool. And you get all of that by maximizing some sort of activation function in a hidden layer in the neural network. So it's like already I was just amazed by how something so technical and mathematical and on its surface kind of boring could produce something like this, which is very psychedelic and awe-inspiring in a way. So of course, being the musician I am, I thought, hey, I'd love to dabble with this AI art stuff. I also love music. What things can I do that combine the two, right? And eventually, I discovered sort of the concept of syncing music to generative art. So just a bit of a disclaimer, I am absolutely not the one who came up with the concept of syncing music to generative art. However, I will say that I might be the first one to make it accessible because, oh my God, guys, I discovered a lot of really cool music related stuff that was frustratingly inaccessible. Um, Sometimes you'd go, like I would go to YouTube, see a video that looks really cool where things are synced and whatnot, and in the description it would link to some paper with some really long title that's absolutely not digestible to a layman. And if you were just scrolling through Google and you saw the title of that paper, you absolutely wouldn't know what it's about, because they just dress it up in all of this, complicated lingo and terminology and what have you. So a lot of academics were looking at the concept, but none of them cared to really bring it to the mass public for some reason, which, in my opinion, was a little sad. And also, I would like to mention there was one effort that actually did try to make it accessible, even had a a GUI, graphical user interface, and whatnot. They have a website where all you do is point and click and generate your own video. But guess what? There was a paywall of $100. Who the hell is gonna pay for that, right? So then came the vision, and the vision was to get all of those things that I discovered online and make them totally accessible, both in terms of the technical aptitude required as well as the monetary amount, because it's all completely free. Make something that was totally flexible as well, so you could express what you want in your mind as um, as concretely as you want in the video, and something that also gives a sense of community and collaboration between everyone that's dabbled with AI art before. And thus Lucid Sonic Dreams was born. So there you go, guys. That's the backstory. Okay, so how exactly does it work? What goes on under the hood? Okay, quick heads up. If you came in expecting a really complicated and detailed sort of technical elaboration of everything that goes under the hood, I'm sorry to disappoint, but that's not what I'm here for. What I want to do with this one slide is just give you a very, very sort of general overview that might give you a basic idea of what exactly is going on, right? So it all starts with this. This is a GAN, a generative adversarial network. And what it is that it's trained to generate sort of images that replicate whatever images you train the network on, right? So if you were to give the network 1,000 images of paintings by Da Vinci, what it's going to do is that it's going to convincingly generate paintings that could pass as paintings that Da Vinci himself made, right? Um, in this case, well, the guy who made this art has openly admitted online that it's based on his psychedelic experiences with certain substances. So okay, you do you, but the output is pretty visually stunning. And essentially, once you have that trained GAN, how you manipulate the visuals that it outputs is simply by feeding it an input vector. Okay, it's actually supposed to be one-dimensional, but I couldn't find an image of a one-dimensional vector, so I made it a matrix here. What you do is you simply tune those different numbers in that input vector, and that affects whatever output your GAN produces. And what's cool is that if you tune just a few numbers by just a small bit, it's going to produce an output that's quite similar to what it started out with, but maybe just with a bit of shifting, a bit of motion in the picture. If you change the numbers drastically, then the image generated will drastically change. So the concept here is, okay, we all know what sound waves are. And I'm sure that anyone, even those that don't have experience dealing with sound waves, could guess that these sound waves can be mapped out as numbers. Okay, so you get those sound waves, you extract the numbers from those sound waves, you feed the numbers into the input matrix, you feed it to the GAN, and it produces art. And that's essentially what happens under the hood. Now, if you want further reading, there are a lot of resources available online. The specific GAN architecture that Lucid Sonic Dreams uses is called StyleGAN2 ADA. Yeah, so just in case you want to give that a Google search and do some further reading, you're free to do so. But okay, this is probably going to be more interesting to you guys. How do you, the end user, use the package? Okay, well, you can do it with just a few lines of code. So just like any Python package, you install the package and you import it. You choose a song, you choose an art style, which we're gonna deal with the choices later. And with a simple final line here, you generate the video, and that's it. It just generates the whole video for you. So the goal here is that even for someone that doesn't have basic Python knowledge, you could teach them in under an hour, and they could probably generate their own things by themselves. Okay, so first, what art styles can you choose from? So what I did with the package is that I pulled from a repository that actually consolidates a bunch of existing sort of model weights that were online, where each model weight corresponds to a specific style, right? So some of the art styles are actually kind of wacky. There's one style that's literally just based on Obama, like it's a neural network that generates images of Obama and nothing else. It's wild. There's one for My Little Pony. There's one for pandas, grumpy cats, beetles, floor plans, even if you guys are into architecture, etc., etc. Um, so there is a function in the package that allows you to sort of list down these styles and choose from them. Plus an unlimited number of custom styles. What do I mean by that? Well, you can essentially pass in any file that contains model weights. So if you're a bit of a techie and you've trained your own style GAN to produce images of, I don't know, if you like pugs, maybe images of pugs, then you can pass those model weights into Lucid Sonic Dreams, and it's gonna generate that for you. So yeah, and that's how you choose your own style. And of course, though it's simple at surface level, there are a lot of different settings that you can tune. In fact, there are over 30 different parameters, right? So I listed just a few of the significant ones down here. Um, we're not going to go over all of them, but you might have a little bit of an idea of which one each does. So pulse reactivity, that's how much the visuals literally pulse to the beat. Motion reactivity, that's how fast or slow the visuals go depending on the volume of the music, etc., etc. And there's actually an existing tutorial notebook on Google Colab for this. Now, well, we're obviously not going to go through it one by one. All I want to do here essentially is just scroll down the notebook just to show you that yes, it exists, and yes, like everything is explained in the form of a tutorial. So I'd like to believe that this notebook is very comprehensive. These are all of the different parameters that you can tune. As you can see, there are a lot of them, and there's a lot of sample code that lets you generate sample videos. So that's for anyone who wants to dabble, that's all in the Colab notebook. And okay, probably some of you might ask, okay, well, where's the link to the Colab notebook? Where can I find all of this? It's so good news is that it's all in the Towards Data Science article. Literally, if you Google search Lucid Sonic Dreams, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the first result, if not the second result, because there's a GitHub repository. And the Towards Data Science article has links to everything from the Colab notebook to the GitHub repository to my YouTube and Instagram that has all the sample output. So, everything's laid out there for you in the spirit of accessibility. Yeah, and that's pretty much a summary of how you use the package. Okay, so it's been 1 month since I released the package. I actually released it on March 13, so a month and a day. And just, for fun, I'd like to share a few highlights, very unexpected highlights that have happened ever since I released the package. This is the craziest one. I didn't expect this, but the guy who trained a model on psychedelics that I mentioned a while ago, yeah, he managed to make an artwork with my package and sell it as an NFT for $10,000 worth of Ethereum, which is wild, honestly. Um, for those who aren't familiar with NFTs, you can search them up. Essentially, they're the digital equivalent of selling an original copy of a painting, like the Mona Lisa. But yeah, I mean, apparently I created a money-making machine and I didn't even know about it. So it's pretty cool. And I actually have seen a bunch of users post their own NFTs online as well. Not sure if anyone else has been able to sell them, but it's pretty cool. And I wouldn't have even known about this if the guy hadn't reached out to me. So who knows how many people are making money with my package? I don't know. And if you guys know any, if you guys are musicians or know any musicians to collab with, or if you want to deal with royalty-free music, I mean, this is an idea. I'm just putting it out there. Another really cool thing, you don't really, it's not obvious from the get-go what's going on in this picture, but essentially some guy from Russia decided to display some of my work in this art exhibit on a really big LED screen. So you don't really get a sense of scale in this picture. But down here is the stage, if you see it, which is the size of a normal stage, and you can see the ground below the stage. So you can imagine that this is like viewing a special LED screen in a cinema. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. I mean, we're all the way in Paris. I'm all the way from the Philippines, and you have this person from all the way on the other side of the world displaying stuff like this. Um, yeah, so pretty awe-inspiring in its own way. And all in all, I've just been very amazed by how collaborative the whole community online is. These are all posted by a bunch of random people online whom I've never met in person, but it's pretty amazing seeing how if you just search up Lucid Sonic Dreams on YouTube or search up the hashtag Lucid Sonic Dreams on Instagram, you see a bunch of different output. Some with model weights that I'd never encountered before. And on the right side here, you see a bunch of different forks on GitHub. So people have actually also been contributing to the package, putting it in PyTorch instead of TensorFlow, for example, fixing some of the technical bugs, making it easier to install. So that really is amazing to see. You'll be surprised by how collaborative people online could get. Yeah, that's it for the highlights. And this brings me to the final part of my presentation, which is just takeaways. So what have I learned personally from this whole experience of creating the package, and what do I want to impart as my final words? Well, three things. The first one is the most poetic thing you'll hear. Data is beautiful. Science is beautiful. Data science is beautiful. Such a creative poem. But I mean every word of that. Honestly, I do think that, especially most people here, we enrolled in a master's probably with a lot of financial motivation as well. Sometimes when we're burning the midnight oil just trying to study our subjects, we, sort of lose track of just how amazing and fascinating our field is. You could use your models maybe to detect fraud that happened in the banking ecosystem, sure, but you could also use your models to create art, and that in itself is just something amazing. Really, the things that we do, can sort of penetrate different fields. And I would argue that even just the numbers that go behind these different architectures and whatnot, sort of the mathematical equations that that are computed under the hood, they have beauty in themselves. And I think that it's important sort of not to lose touch with that and to just appreciate every day, sort of just you know the beauty. I've said beauty a billion times, but I really mean it. The beauty of what we're doing around here. The second one is make cool technology accessible to all, and the world will be a better place. After hearing my backstory, you guys could probably figure where this is coming from. What I really, really hate about some, maybe not all, people in the academe is that despite how amazing a lot of their discoveries are, and despite how amazing the research is, they don't make any effort to make things accessible. Like I said, you could have the coolest concepts, but it's all in some research paper, which is completely incomprehensible to a layman. And in my opinion, that's just quite a bit of a waste, because you're discovering some of the coolest things that are possible. Why not allow everyone else in the world to sort of take part in either applying it or maybe even just appreciating it, have them as an audience as well. um you could probably tell I don't plan to ever get into the academe, but if any of you guys are, I'm hoping that you'll take this insight with you, because we do need more researchers out there that make things more digestible to the greater public. And finally, number three, keep learning and keep experiencing. The universe holds endless possibilities. Honestly, 20 years ago, no one would have thought that the output of Lucid Sonic Dreams was possible. And I would like to say, I mean, I'd like to believe, as someone who's into vibes and aesthetics, as I said a while ago, that these auditory and visual experiences could immerse you in a different kind of experience that than you'd get from simply living your daily life, right? And really, who knows what else the universe holds? Maybe in 10 years time we're gonna have a VR equivalent of Lucid Sonic Dreams or something. I mean, that'd be cool. Maybe we'll be able to experience things that people have never thought of before, etc. So really, I mean, this is probably the most vague insight that I've imparted among the three, but I do think that it's something that's worth carrying around with you as you live your daily life. Uh, yeah, and that's all. So shameless plug, follow me on Instagram. You could simply search up at Lucid Sonic Dreams. The hashtag Lucid Sonic Dreams will also yield quite a bit of output. On Twitter, I'm just at Mikael Alafriz, and on YouTube, as you saw a while ago, I'm Mikael Alafriz as well. And on YouTube, if you scroll down a little bit, it also includes my musical works, my piano covers and what have you, before I ever made Lucid Sonic Dreams. Yeah, so that's all. Thank you very much for listening, everyone.